As humans, we are scared to explore the unknown. After all, it's human nature. Why should we put ourselves in an uncomfortable position? Why risk my comfort to explore something that we're unsure of? The pinnacle of the unknown, the human spirit deciphering the mysterious, the void beyond our understanding is a common theme that we see in Hunter x Hunter. The person that we're perhaps most indebted to for this specific style is H.P. Lovecraft, who would pioneer his own genre of horror dubbed as Lovecraftian horror. Rather than using things like jump scares, gore, and violence to get across the feeling of horror, Lovecraft would build his stories on top of the unknown. The fact that the readers reading his stories are put in an uncomfortable position was the spark and catalyst for a lot of visual themes in Hunter x Hunter. And I think the idea of the unknown, whether or not Yoshihiro Togashi was influenced by it, was a big catalyst for constructing the big picture in Hunter x Hunter. But let's not jump ahead of ourselves here, we'll come back to this. Yoshihiro Togashi is a famous mangaka in Japan, famous for creating works of art such as Yu Yu Hakusho and the infamous Hunter x Hunter. His works have been described as a deconstruction of the shonen genre, and while many of his characters are influenced by the works of people before him, his mangas, and more recently Hunter x Hunter, have never followed the norm of what we've come to expect in shonen manga genre. Characters that were first portrayed as evil would later show humanity, and characters that we've fallen in love with become a catalyst for their own hate. It's the constant twists and turns that Togashi utilizes in his works that keeps us readers on our toes, and perhaps the reason why Hunter x Hunter, despite its many hiatuses, is still a fan favorite. But the biggest twist that Togashi used in the somewhat recent chapters of the Hunter x Hunter manga is revealing the fact that the world we've come to learn about is but a drop in the ocean that is the Dark Continent. It was revealed at the end of the anime in the conversation with Jing and Gon that the world they live in is but a tiny lake in the Dark Continent. This is where Jing is wanting to head to find his grandfather, Don Freaks, who's been alive for 300 years, writing the Traveler's Guide, Journey to the New World. It's explained that Don Freaks is still alive because of the things that inhabit this world, such as a plant that can cure all kinds of diseases, and rice that would be the secret to longevity. Those who seek to explore the Dark Continent are met with an even larger unknown. They do not know whether they shall ever return, and those that do would bring back calamities that threaten the very existence of humanity, almost as if a trade-off for the unknown that they had uncovered. This is where we start to see the influences of Lovecraftian horror take place in Togashi's story. The threats that were brought back by the explorers are explained and drawn in a way that embodies the unknown like in Lovecraftian stories. The botanical weapon that protects the mysterious ancient ruins, the codependence of desire, a gaseous life form eye, the monsters that infects its prey with homicidal desire, the twin snake Hellbell, and a trade-off between life and pleasure, a beast that keeps people as pets, Pap, and endless despair disguised as hope, Zobae, the immortality disease. This chapter ends with the researcher coming to a conclusion that this is no place humanity should go back to. But it's not really until later in chapter 344 where we see Togashi trying to draw the unknown. Our expectations of reality are warped in these images. From left to right, we see what appears to be a plant-like creature sprouting from the ground eating a T-Rex with 6 arms, as terror gleams in its expression as the dinosaur realizes that this is the end. A fellow dinosaur looks in terror as he witnesses the death of his comrade. Elephants, giant beings in our world, are but insects crawling at the feet of these dinosaurs as we see a moth take one in its mouth, presumably to eat. A giant walrus on the right of the carnivorous plant sinks its teeth into what we think of as mighty beings. The dinosaur coughs up blood as we, the reader, become overwhelmed with the image in front of us. The stress and anxiety that one would receive from this image is because of Togashi's mastery over his craft and artwork. With the exceptions of a few spots, Togashi never truly inks one area to be a pure black. The constant strokes and lines invoke movements, and our eyes have a tough time adjusting to the world of the Dark Continent. with things we expect to be at the top of the food chain like dinosaurs are losing their lives to what we think of as much more peaceful creatures in comparison, is also startling. And the unfamiliar plant life that surrounds these creatures adds a level of unfamiliarity, thus making it easy to come to the same conclusion as the researcher. This is indeed no place that humanity should go back to. Like Lovecraftian horror, Togashi uses the unknown as a tool for storytelling. With the inability to fully understand and grasp how dangerous the Dark Continent is, readers of Hunter x Hunter are constantly guessing about what could be out there. The uncertainty, the anxiety, the stress is reflected in how Togashi panels and draws his artwork while depicting the unknown. And in a way, it's as if this is Togashi's way of exploring what the unknown is through the world he built for his characters. This has been JAIK. Thanks for watching.